Opie and Anthony Podcast. Find the show on Twitter at Opie Radio, at Anthony Cumia, and at Jim Norton.
But enough of this palaver. Let's get the show on the road.
Ladies and gentlemen,
there he is.
Ozzy Osbourne.
It is Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy will introduce everyone.
What's his,
Opie, Anthony, Opie, Anthony, Jim Norton.
Hi, Oz.
I forgot already.
I know, it's
Yeah.
okay. I just wanted to say hi.
Nice. You made it.
So happy you're
Thank
Don't ask
God.
me why. I got in like a couple of hours ago, and I'm like,
Yeah? You get up early these days or what?
well, I got radio interviews, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of, what time did you get up today? Because it's kind of early for a rock star.
About 7:30.
7:30?
I went to sleep at 6:15.
6:15 in the morning?
Yeah.
Oh, really? You go on that little sleep?
I got no choice. My wife's got a good left foot. She kicks my butt out of bed.
Yeah, you can't
go to
sleep
work.
late anymore. Go to work. Can't you make her just realize
But
you
she
wanna...
works harder than me.
But that's a great deal for you. I think you
Yeah,
should
but-
just
but-
relax. Enjoy,
Thank you.
enjoy yourself.
Thank you. Get me some Quaaludes quick.
Because believe me, I love Sharon and everything, but I mean, it seems to me like these probably are the years you should maybe be relaxing.
Do you know, as we gotten older together, we're getting more work now than ever.
Is that a good thing?
It could be worse.
It could be worse, but I don't know.
I could be Arab and have 4 wives who could drive me nuts.
You enjoy it though. It's not like you're forced to be out. Because I've heard some accusations that people are like, oh, Sharon cracks the whip and Ozzy goes, and he doesn't want to work this hard anymore.
How many married men do you know that their wives don't crack the whip?
You are so right.
It doesn't
You
matter
are
what you
so
do.
right.
They don't got crack the whip. They've got very many tactical ways of getting what they want out of you.
Even
man.
the Prince of Darkness has to put up with that. Has to put up with the whip
I
cracking.
mean, I've even tried a wooden spike through her heart.
That didn't work.
I got splinters in my hands. Then I got told off for whittling.
Yeah, boy, they can be tough. That's for sure.
That's hilarious.
How
though.
you feeling? Your neck and your back and everything?
I can't say the word, but
No, you can say whatever you want. You can say fuck, shit here.
Yeah, it sounds like
That's
radio.
radio.
It's kind of fucked, man.
Yeah, is it?
I'm worth more in scrap metal now than anything else. When I do, they're gonna melt me down in the fucking Bionic Man.
When we heard about your ATV accident, it's like everybody assumed it was nothing and it was okay, but it was pretty serious stuff.
But the dumb, they couldn't have been. It was like chasing a bandit at 500 miles an hour. It was
Right.
fucking 3 miles an hour, man.
3 miles an hour, would you capsize the thing?
That's really the Prince of Darkness speed.
What did you hit?
The ground.
No, I mean, how do you fall off of it at 3 miles an hour?
Well, it's one of those. I was going down a dip, and instead of a screw kind of, it's
And
a
you
lever.
kinda, right.
My body, I had my hand on the handlebars, and I pushed the lever. Next thing I know, I was on morphine. That was pretty cool, man.
The morphine, huh?
Yeah. I didn't want to leave. I wanted to be the resident fucking morphine guy.
Just keep me here. I still feel a little pain.
No, but you know, I've had a big major change in my life.
Yeah.
I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do dope. I'm boring my fucking self to do.
This isn't just a phase, though, that you're
No,
going through.
I'm 11 months now.
11 months.
Which is the longest time I've
Really?
ever got.
And this had to do with your accident?
No, because the wife kept giving me fucking shit. You know?
Hey, now I heard you were pretty much dead at this point.
Well, I didn't exactly want to run the fucking marathon.
No. But did they have to bring you back to life or anything?
Yeah, they got them fucking electric things. Because what happened was when I smashed my clavicle, or
Yeah.
whatever the fucking thing is, the bone.
We're
in
with
it.
you.
Shoulder blade.
Yeah.
It severed
the,
my artery
collarbone.
and my lungs filled with blood, and I was draining my
Oh.
blood. I mean, I had to sort of put a thing in my lung to drain the blood,
Drain it out.
and my heart stopped twice.
Jesus.
Did you see anything?
What?
Did you see anything when the heart stopped?
No, I wasn't really fucking looking. At that point, I didn't go, darling, my heart stopped. Look at that fucking beautiful bird up there. The house looks fabulous from this fucking ditch.
Ozzy, I think he means some kind of
some
afterlife thing, an image.
But I saw some fucking afterlife thing. I'm a ghost sitting there right now.
Okay, you make good sense. I understand.
I was wondering if he saw the devil or something. You know, a lot of people.
I'm married to her.
A lot of people see, you know, the nice white light, and
The people say to me, "Did you see the light, the white light?" And I go, "Yeah, it was the fucking lamp above the bed when I was waking up."
that's what I think that's all about, by the way. Yeah.
Bullshit, man. There's nothing. Holy host of fucking angels going, "Ozzy, we have come to save you." It's like, "Get up, fucking! You got a gig tonight, you fucking asshole." My wife, in a Satan frock.
Yeah. Jesus. Well, thank God. Everything
cleared that
worked
up
out.
for you.
You're okay, but 11 months now.
Yeah, 11 months.
Wow, that's really cool.
So what do you do to pass the time now that you're not doing the dope?
Masturbate.
One vice you're still allowed, huh?
Yeah, thank God they don't take that away from us.
But I'm a man's amputated next week. I spend too much time in the john, you know.
Do you miss the dope or the booze or nothing?
He got fucking old, man. I mean, you know.
Was that it?
At one time it was fun, but then it became a fucking pain.
Yeah, it kind of gets in the way of a lot of things, doesn't it?
Especially when you're fucking nodding up on a morphine in a fucking interview, you know.
Yeah. Oh. And now it must have been a little hard knowing what you went through and stuff to see your kids going through rehab. That's got to be.
In actual fact, he spurred me on. I mean, I'd been trying for 20 odd years, but
really,
he just with the series going so well on MTV, he kind of like they all went, because when you think. People go, "Oh, it must be so cool," but when you think every morning at 7 o'clock you open your bedroom door and there's a fucking crew and they're on and they're chasing your ass around your house or wherever you do go all day, and it's fun for about the first week or two, but then the fucking second year comes, you know, it's like, don't you guys have a fucking home to go to?
Yeah,
you
it
know?
gets a little old, I'm
And
sure.
so the kid, plus the kids. Went from being kids to TV stars, and they were getting all kinds of flack from the public. They were like being ridiculed and slapping. Not everybody. A lot of people were okay.
I think most people were okay with it, but there were some people that were really ragging the kids. Yeah,
you always got a whack job out there somewhere, you know.
Jealous.
I mean, the majority of the people were great, but the whole life switch really fucked with them, you know, and they started, you know, doing drugs and alcohol.
Now you were back on.
When Sharon was diagnosed with colon cancer, my little plan was like, I'll go first. I mean, you got to admit, guys, with the reputation that I had, I've got more chance of going before she. She don't smoke, she don't drink, and she ends up with colon cancer, and I'm like, fucking smoking bungs and running around the fucking house, vats of booze.
It's always the way.
Was there anything that was like ever shot that you just didn't want shown on the show that you said you got
a lot?
Did they honor it or did they show it anyway?
No, I mean, when you see a show, it's like 25 minutes, right? They're filming from Monday at 7 o'clock till every morning, like 4 o'clock in the morning, and they got that for a fucking week. Like, a week you could make a series, you know.
Right.
But the stuff, the trick to the show, I think, was the editing.
Yeah.
And we just did a wrap-up thing with that Dr. Phil, who incidentally. He's a really cool guy, man.
Really?
He really knows his stuff.
Really?
He's when I used to watch him on the TV, he said another fucking
quack.
But he really is a nice guy.
Yeah. He kind of did he
just
did
said
he help?
You're all fucking mad and went home.
You're all mad. Did he help you out a little bit?
Yeah, but the guy's just a really nice guy. You know?
Yeah.
We had like a family thing, you know.
Now, you being going through what you went through with the drugs and stuff, you must have known and seen your kids falling into the same rut. What did you try? Did you try to do anything?
You know what? It's like I quit smoking cigarettes just over 4 years ago. I just got a bit of a moment of reality, if you like. I just thought, how can I tell my kids about not smoking with a fucking mulberry in my mouth? Be an example. And I never thought that I would ever quit smoking. I thought I would die with one in my hand.
Yeah.
And one day I just went, people said to me, how did you do it, Ozzy? I just went, I took the patch up and all that shit and threw the cigarettes on the fire And I made my mind up, you know. People go, oh, I couldn't go anywhere without a cigarette. You can if you want to.
It's one of those daily things, because I know I used to smoke. It's one of those things where you know you're picking the cigarette up, so you just don't do it for that day.
The best 2 cigarettes of the day, first thing in the morning, last at night.
Yeah.
And the last at night when I was fucking hammered, used to have a backlash when the fucking bed was on fire, you know.
Nothing better than a nice cold beer and a cigarette, though.
A flaming pair of balls at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Hey, did you take Sabbath off the ballot at the awful Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which should just be firebombed?
No. Let me explain the situation with the grief I used to have. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is run by people that are in the business, not by the people that don't go at the back of a music magazine. If you write and tell us who you think you'd like in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
it's not fans.
And I disagree with that principle because I mean, you could get a job, or anybody could get a job in a record in one and get voted on the panel and say, I think Bruce Springsteen or Elton John or whatever. And for years we were like on the list, and I said, they ain't gonna fucking vote for us.
They're musical snobs, and they never gave you guys what they should have because you came from a darker place than like Aerosmith or all these other bands that are in there and that shouldn't have been in there before you.
But then they had a really damning response to me, which I didn't go out for a fucking week. It frightened me that much into the respect it was so lame, man. It was just, so what does Ozzy want? An award for biting the most heads off the most bats. And I was like, give me a fucking hand job, you cocksucker.
Like that's all you ever did in your career. That's it.
I mean, that was fucking.
Wait,
that proved my point, actually.
Yep.
Wait, you once bit a... No, I won't go there.
Don't start. It's fucking anymore. And I can still fucking use my right arm.
we got...
gag.
In a little way, Ant and I could relate to that.
Talking about your penis again.
Yeah. Because, we got in a lot of trouble with our radio show. We had this couple have sex at St. Pat's Cathedral, so now wherever we go... That's all they want to know. So we can relate on a small level, the whole bat question, the dove question, all that you've been asked thousands and thousands of times. So
Who wants to hear it anymore, right?
Exactly.
Fuck it.
Well, it was like...
Yeah, it was like this. Oh, please.
What do bats taste like? I don't know. It's been that long ago. I don't know what fucking bread tastes like.
I saw you had a great answer for that on Letterman years ago. You said bats taste kind of salty. Great response for that. I gotta ask, this is kind of a dumb question, but what is your greatest fear when you walk out on stage? Are you afraid when you walk out?
Every night, people say, I've been doing it for 30 odd years now. And people say, oh, you must have it down now. I never, ever, before I go on stage, I go through this inner torture. Am I going to pull it off? Is the crowd going to like me? Am I going to? Because sometimes you go on stage and you go, it's going good tonight. And then you come off stage and the people come up to you and go, you feeling okay tonight?
Oh, no, really?
And you go, what, you think you're having a good time? See, my perception is fucked. My perception is all over the place. And then when I think I'm doing a bad show, they go, fuck it, Ozzy, and you get better with age. And I like to, it's like an invisible line. Once you cross that line, you're on, whether you're good, bad, or whatever.
Right.
I mean, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's fucking awful.
But you still go through it before every time you go out?
I don't put it this way, I don't need any laxatives,
Yeah.
But, I mean, the toilet is overflowing.
Yeah.
That's odd because you would think, for so many years doing it and stuff, and when you come out, you just look like an animal. You look like the guy that, is confident.
I always think that, I always think the worst. And Sharon goes to me, you just stand there, I go, I can't because I'm fucking me,
Yeah.
Sharon says, oh, no, you're 56. None of this fucking jumping around anymore. I just go, keep me at home then if I can't do what I got to do. I'm going to stand there like a fucking lemon.
Yeah. And then people say, oh, why is Ozzy not moving? Then you get shit for
that.
that.
He did die.
They just propping him up there, damn it.
In my contract, after that,
fingers
the
up
fucking,
in
the Aussie.
Hey, how'd you become friends with Elton John? I saw that on one of the Osbourne shows there.
It's a long story. My wife used to hang around with him before she met me.
It just seems like a strange combination.
I don't know. It's just a really. I don't know. It just happened. Isn't it? Actually, He's a very nice guy.
Hey, that's a good guy though for your wife to hang around before she met you with. You know nothing was happening.
Not with Elton John, it wasn't.
Do you know what? I never ask for things like that. You know,
No.
I don't look at it. Look at any. I mean, any one of us could be homosexual. I wouldn't know it. I'm not.
Could be. Look around the room.
I'm not. Yeah.
I'm not a homosexual.
No, don't look at me. Look at, I was hoping
Look at the camera.
Wow. I was hoping you were gonna look that way, not over
I
here.
made the gender mistake with a hooker once. I thought it was a chick, but it was a guy. But that's not gay because I didn't know when I went into it.
But you fucked her, yeah?
Well, no, I kind of finished, and I was like, you got me. And, he left.
Did you go poop shoot or what?
No.
I think he paid for a blowjob, Oz.
Yeah, it was a blowjob in
Yeah.
Jersey, and I didn't know.
I wouldn't give a fucking shit about one of them.
Thank you.
Look at that.
I bet you more than one person has done that,
Oh, thank you.
But
See, you're getting.
He's the only one willing to admit it in front of a
you
lot
don't
of
know.
people. Though.
I mean, some of these transsexuals, though, you don't know the fucking difference.
Oh, they're lovely.
Looking a little nice, right? These days, science and
Like
technology.
a kickstart a fucking Harley every quick, though.
You know what I've always wanted to ask you, too, is...
No, I'm not one of them.
Oh, no. You're not a tranny. The original War Pigs, you guys had, it was an original version you did to War Pigs, and then the lyrics, which were really, dark lyrics. Did the record company make you change that, or did you guys make a creative decision to do it?
It's been that long ago, I can't remember fucking making the record. Did I make a record called War Pigs? No, I mean, the only one I do remember, Volume 4 was originally going to be called Snowblind. And they said, no, you can't. It's in those days, it was like cocaine was you couldn't mention or have any connotations. So if you look in the inside cover, I think it's Volume 4. One of the
5 4.
And it's got, we'd like to thank the great Los Angeles Coca-Cola Company, which is a little way of saying.
Right,
we
you had to
did
get
a
it in
lot
there.
of fucking blow on that album.
Troublemakers.
But in those, it's got a lot more liberals. People actually sing about it now.
Yeah, now it doesn't matter, right? What do you listen to these days?
I don't. I'm currently doing some work with a colleague of mine on a Broadway musical about Rasputin.
Really?
It's really good. What I like about it, it's a different process than writing songs for an album.
Mm-hmm.
You can use a theme leapfrog it in and out of the song, and so it's quite interesting.
Yeah, a couple of people with the roots in rock and roll getting into Broadway. It seems to be the thing to do.
Well, I've been working on this for 10 years.
Oh, see, they're ripping you off.
Who?
Hey, this box set you got, you cover some really interesting songs. You do In My Life and Sympathy for the Devil.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
I had to have some. In my lives, I heard. I was watching this movie one day, and Bette Midler was doing this thing with this USO thing for the military, and there was a part where she goes into Vietnam, and I thought that's one of the least Beatles albums, records, songs that's been covered. I mean, I've always wanted to do a version of Whitest Shade of Pale, but everybody and their fucking grandmother's done that.
Yeah.
So I when I did the cover, there's up the road, there's a covers album called Ozzy on the cover with a lot more different songs as well as those on.
What was the only one you'd done before that was like Evil Woman, I think, on the original Black Sabbath was the only cover until...
I did for that Moscow Pete Summit, Purple Haze for Doc McGee. And the whole box set, and the reason why it can't, I did covers because I've been on about doing it for quite a while now, and the record company we're going to put the fucking Miss Piggy Born to Be Wild on, and my wife says, why don't you add that covers of, and it was a lot of fun to make actually because it wasn't, they were established songs, and we didn't change them around that much, because sometimes when you hear somebody go do a cover song, the only thing recognizable is the title.
Right.
So we kept it nearly as true to the form, I'm really pleased with it, you know.
You know, one of the greatest things about you, I've always loved, is like a lot of bands, like headliners especially, will try to bring like a soft opener, and you always seem to bring like the fucking best bands out there. I've seen you with Metallica, Motley Crue when they were on fire.
Yeah.
Is there anybody you've ever been afraid to follow or go on after?
No, way back in the day when Kiss happened, I mean, that was like a fucking revolution. I mean, in the Sabbath, we'd go on after Kiss. They would open up for us. And the fucking audiences were like all that face paint, and it's like, I don't think we'll belong here.
Oh man, really?
But you know, I just played on. I mean, there's been many a times I've gone, fucking hell, how am I going to get through this, you know? But I just played on my own way, you know.
You actually watch the opening band and just go, fuck, we're not going to follow this.
No, I try not to because I either get influenced or I get pissed off. I like to live in my own little world before I go on stage because it's sometimes I'll do it, but not very often.
Man, look at Jimmy's got a little picture of you on his shirt.
Yeah,
yeah, but
Jimmy's
You probably didn't get a dime for that. Some bootleg.
no, I bought this at Ozfest. I won't buy anything bootleg Ozzy. It's gotta be
really?
Absolutely not. Nothing bootleg, man. It's gotta
Ozzy-
go through him.
Ozzy. Just so you know, you're Jimmy's hero. Simple as that.
No.
I
Number
don't suck cock, Jimmy.
Number one fan.
Number one, there's no one bigger in his mind than you.
Yeah,
no
I'm
one.
just a big.
Thank
It's
you,
really
dude.
great to be chatting with you.
He spends half his time on this radio show talking about you.
Yep.
You're my man.
I think you've been ripped off by a lot of bands. I discussed that a lot. I think you two stole Sunday Bloody Sunday from Sabbath Bloody Sabbath.
No, we stole that Sabbath Bloody Sunday from Sunday.
Oh
Bloody
shit!
Oh, look at that. Close your
still a
argument. Ozzy, never a stranger to controversy. Of course, you know, the Bat thing and the Alamo and stuff. Now I see you turning up in the papers. The latest controversy, cosmetic surgery.
Well, I had my dick shortened.
All right, you heard it here.
There you go. It's an
That's
exclusive.
it. Screw page 6. Screw whatever they're saying. He had his dick shortened. They had a story about you. I don't know. It was getting fat injections and.
What the fuck do I want to have a fat injection if I get up and work out on a life cycle for 2 fucking hours? Anyway?
Yeah, it was like
that's
they were
a dumb
taking,
idea.
What I was reading is
If
they
it
were
was an
taking
injection of speed so I could fucking pedal faster, I was going.
they were taking fat from your ass and injecting it in your face or something.
What? Were you reading the fucking paper upside down?
Oh. It says that you admitted I have had a facelift.
Yeah, my wife fucking smacked me in the chin one night.
Ex-Bloody Black Sabbath singer came clean after years of denying he had gone under the knife. Ozzy, 56, had insisted he lost his gaunt appearance by ditching drink and drugs and switching to clean living. But the rock wild man has now revealed, I've had a face job and a new nose. It bolstered my confidence to no end.
Do I look any different?
No,
Nope.
and the
Well,
pictures that they put.
If that's the truth, I'm going to get my fucking money back.
So you never said this? That you've
I
had a
don't-
face nose job?
It's real. I don't know where they get this shit from.
I don't know. They're printing lies about you. It's probably not the first time, right?
Right.
Sometimes I'm sure you open up the paper, you read things and go,
I don't read it
bullshit."
because I always get pissed off
You
because I
get
get it
pissed
wrong.
off?
Oh, you do
know.
get pissed off by that stuff still?
I won't read a magazine, but once every blue moon I go, oh, look at that. Every time I look at it, look at the 1 in a million. It's something I don't want to fucking read. So
Probably something about your family or something, right?
Not about my facelift or one.
What was the craziest thing you read about yourself that obviously wasn't true?
Just recently, I was in London and there was an article on Black Sabbath, and in bold writing he said, "Sabbath, you should fire Ozzy." And now I'd never rejoined Sabbath. We had a reunion because you'll never get a studio album out of him. And the reason why I said I wouldn't do it, I haven't. No, the reason why I haven't done another studio album with Bill Ward, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and myself is because I said, if the music that we wrote wasn't as good as when we left off, what's the fucking
You're a
point?
smart man. Too
I
many.
mean, so many times so and so's got back together, and I've gone, the album fucking sucks.
You do the same thing we do. That's great.
Yeah, you might as well leave it on a high note.
Just because the four of us are getting together. If the music's, I'd be a fucking idiot if I like this radio station. You know,
Say whatever you want.
I can be what I'm my own man. fuck.
No restrictions, Ozzy. I know. It's great.
It should be like this in every radio station.
Of
course
course
it
it be.
should.
What's it gonna hurt?
Because I'm
The
sitting
hell's
there
it
with
hurt?
my hairs on the back of my neck and going, did I say it right?
Yeah, you're gonna get someone in trouble. They're
It's
gonna
like having a
find
chat
me.
with some guys in a fucking dry bar.
Screw
yeah.
it, man. Doesn't matter. Say what you want.
So we have had attempts at doing an album, but I don't know. It just didn't feel right, you know. And this time, if we did do it, and it's still on the burner, you know, it's still on the back burner,
Right.
you know. If something come out as good as Paranoid or Master Reality or Volume 4, then I'd be a fucking idiot not to do it. But why should I do an album that I go, fuck, it's Black Sabbath, but it sucks.
You know what? It's easy for you to say also because you're doing very well these days. I mean, you're making a lot of money and stuff. Are there any of the other guys that are really hip on doing something like that just for financial reasons alone?
No.
They're doing all right,
I mean, it takes four of us, and if there's one out of the four that's not into it for whatever reason, it ain't gonna be Black Sabbath. Cause
Right.
I've played Black Sabbath songs with great musicians. They've had various singers and different band members, and there's in my opinion, there's like two Black Sabbaths, the Ozzy one and the Ronnie James deal, and it was I must confess, I did like a couple of their albums with Ronnie James deal. I mean,
Did that piss you off when you heard it and went,
No.
shit, this is good?
because it was like a new Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
And I didn't do so bad at the end of the day.
Yeah, he did all right for himself.
Of course, yeah.
People still want to hear you do the songs. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Theo tried to do War Pigs. It was like, an Iron Man, but
But you know when I remember getting a letter just after about a year after he joined them, and he asked me for royalties for him singing my songs, and I wrote back, "Fuck you."
That's a nice answer, sure.
Yeah.
you got to be surprised too that after all these years, it's like a lot of guys.
Are
Like,
you winking at me, or is that a switch?
I actually blink a lot, but I probably am subconsciously doing it because I'm just so happy you're here.
He's twitching a little bit. He's all nervous that Ozzy's sitting
Oh,
right
dude,
next to him.
I'm just like petrified. I fucking forgot my question now. God damn it, do I suck?
Ozzy, you threw him for a loop.
Fuck.
I love looking at you flustered like this.
Oh, I'm just sitting here like an idiot with my hands folded, not saying
You
shit.
don't understand. When people call up and critique you the slightest, he jumps all over them like they're talking about his mother or something. Really just defends you like a
Well, thank
tiger.
you, thank you.
Well,
brother.
it's like I know what it was. It was amazing how like after all these years, like you're still putting out stuff that's phenomenal. Like Just Want You is one of the fucking best songs you've ever done, and Perry Mason is phenomenal. That's like 30 years after you started. It's just amazing that it hasn't tapered off.
I'm so happy for Zach Wilde. He's just got his album went to the charts at 50, and he must be fucking higher than a fucking kite right now.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
great. We've had him on the
kid,
show.
I
He's-
gotta tell him for whatever bad things he's about and crazies and whatever, he has worked his fucking butt up since he left me.
He's
He
a
don't-
madman.
He just does not. He's unstoppable, man.
Ozzy, give us a fuck you. We're out of here.
Fuck you!
The Opie and Anthony Podcast.
What's Ozzy saying, Jimmy? Released a statement on Tony Iommi's lawsuit.
Did not hear that.
Is this a new statement from
Must be.
Ozzy?
I have not heard any statement from Oz. Mm-hmm. What did he say?
I don't know. I'm asking you. You're the Ozzy guy.
No one, but no one told me anything.
You're all Ozzy all the time, my friend.
I don't. Let me see.
Is there a new statement, or is this an old statement?
Apparently
and we
there-
forgot
I
to change
didn't
up
even
the
see
prep
this.
sheet?
Last week the news broke. It's
Oh, here's the statement. Wow, it's a long one. It's a lot of reading. I don't know if we want to get into a lot of reading, Jimmy.
I'll explain it.
If it's Ozzy.
All right.
It is with great regret that I had to resort to legal action against my longtime partner, Tony Iommi. But after 3 years of trying to resolve this issue amicably, I feel that no other recourse. Reads a statement from Ozzy. As of the
All right, I'll do that part for you.
As of the mid-1990s, after constant numerous changes in band members, the brand of Black Sabbath was literally in the toilet and Tony Iommi
Touring under the new name Black Sabbath.
was reduced to performing in clubs.
Oh, damn.
Since 1997, when Geezer, Bill and myself rejoined the band, Black Sabbath has returned to its former glory as we headline sold-out arenas and amphitheaters, playing to upwards of 50,000 people at each show around the world. I wonder who worded this because I didn't. We worked collectively to restore credibility and bring dignity back to the name Black Sabbath, which led to the band being inducted into the UK and US Rock and Roll Hall of Fames, in which Jim Norton asked some very poignant questions in 2005 and 2006.
That doesn't say that.
Respectively.
I see it. It's right there.
Throughout the last 12 years, it was my management representatives who oversaw the marketing and quality control of the Black Sabbath brand through Ozfest, touring, merchandising, and album reissues.
He did. You're absolutely right. This is not Ozzy. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's not written like Ozzy would say this shit.
The name Black Sabbath now has a worldwide prestige and merchandising value. I've never said those words in my life.
Yes. Look at this PowerPoint presentation.
That it would not have had by continuing on the road it was on prior to the 1997 reunion tour.
Then Ozzy addressed Iommi personally by saying,
Tony, I am so sorry it had to get to this point by me having to take this action against you. I don't have the right to speak for Geezer and Bill, but I feel that morally and ethically the trademark should be owned by the four of us equally. I had hoped that by taking this first step, that it will ultimately end up that way. We've all worked too hard and long in our career to allow you to sell merchandise that features all of our faces, our Black Sabbath album covers, and band logos. And then you tell us that you own the copyright. We're all in our 60s now. The Black Sabbath legacy should live on long after we are all gone. Please do the right thing.
what happened?
It sounds a little.
It's Ted Osbourne.
It's Ted Osbourne.
Ted Osbourne.
Ted Osbourne.
How annoying was that for everyone listening? My apologies.
Fantastic. I was
No, I
getting
liked
into
it.
it.
I
It
absolutely
really
liked
made the
it.
statement.
I only want to talk like this for the rest of the day.
Made the statement a lot easier to listen to.
Sure it did.
It did.
Hello, Jim. Your producer's a faggot. How did your trademark die?
Wow. So he's somebody's mad. A lawyer or Sharon.
Yeah.
That
Well,
seems
you know
to be
what?
Who wrote that?
The bottom line is that they should all four own it. I mean,
Yeah, he's not even saying anyone should.
At this point, he should just take the name.
What's the problem?
they should all own it. It should be 10, 10, 10, and 70.
Yeah. If Tony took the initiative, now Ozzy should try to get the whole damn thing himself.
Right.
Screw the rest of the guys. Or at least Tony. Take his share.
The Opie and Anthony Podcast. The Opie and Anthony Podcast continues.
9 already.
My son is
Because I remember
9.
when you were having a kid when we
Yeah.
first got back to radio.
Yeah.
We've been back 9 years.
Well, you guys came back in 03 or 02?
04-ish.
Yeah, so I had just had,
Yeah.
he was born in 03.
Yeah, I remember you
So-
talking about it at the time, and now he's 9.
9.
And
Yeah.
do you want to tell that story?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, I wasn't sure how
We were talking about
No,
Sabbath.
Sabbath, and you
At
brought your
fir-
9-year-old.
Yeah, and first of all, isn't it crazy how long we've had a relationship on this show? Like 13 fucking years,
14,
man.
that's crazy.
That's
99.
longer than most marriages last. So
99,
congratulations, guys. I'll buy you a bouquet of flowers later. So I took my son to the Stones in June. We went to Boston, flew up father son. I'm not much of a camper or like a woodsman, and I remember my dad used to take me camping when I was a kid, and I was like, fuck that. I'll take him to the Stones. That's a cool thing for a dad and son. to do.
Sure.
And we had the best time. The Stones killed it. I don't know if you guys saw
They're
them.
still killing it?
Mick is 70, and he sings like he's 50. He sings great. He's still doing his Mick shit and doing the, and it was so damn good. And he had a blast. And he knew the songs because I played him some good ones. So I said, well, do you want to go to Sabbath? They're coming to Tampa. And he's like, okay, I'd like to go to Sabbath. I'm going to go. And I said, well, Ozzy swears a lot. He's like, it's okay, Dad. I've heard it before. He plays Call of Duty. And, so my wife and I said, okay, well, let's give it a try.
Right.
So I took him there, and of course the opening line is, "I want to see a wild fucking crowd, you fuckers." And he's kind of like a little bit timid, but he's getting up there. War Pigs is the opening number, and he's clapping with Ozzy, and he's doing the Ozzy stuff. And I'm watching him out of the corner of the eye, because if I look at him, he'll stop. Yeah. And he's into it. And then about the third song in was "Under the Sun," kind of an obscure tune.
Could be my favorite Sabbath song ever.
Well, mine too. Until they have these big video screens on the side of the stage, as most bands do nowadays. But instead of showing here's Geezer playing and here's Ozzy, they've got these like blasphemous, crazy images from like the Hammer horror films of the late 60s, early 70s, when there was no like code, there was no ratings. So I was watching this, and it was like I couldn't believe it. There's nothing like watching two nuns covered in blood jacking off a cross with your 9-year-old son, and they're making out too. And so I was kind of looking, and I can see that he's. I remember if I was ever watching a movie with my parents and there was like boobs. I remember when we saw The Deep at the drive-in with my parents, and they thought I was sleeping, but the boobs were like Jacqueline Bisset's boobs, and
that white T-shirt.
Yeah, remember? And I'm like, I hope they don't notice that I'm looking, because I don't want to have this conversation right now. I'm only 7. Yeah. So I'm looking over, and he's seeing all this stuff, and he's not really. I don't know. Like Jimmy said, you didn't even notice any of this stuff.
No, I was so transfixed on Ozzy. They literally could be showing my fucking face, and I wouldn't have noticed it.
But you hear the booze.
So then the next one that comes up is Jesus on the cross with a giant serpent circling the cross and devouring him, legs up. Like, I was uncomfortable. Even if me and Norton were watching it, I'd feel weird. Yeah. Never mind with my 9-year-old son. And it was starting to get pretty bad. And I was like, you know what? Do you want to go? And he's like, I'm kind of tired. Maybe we should go. And I was like, yeah, we should go. But I want to stay until Fairies Wear Boots. We covered that on our last record. It's always my favorite Sabbath song. And of course, Fairies Wear Boots come on. And then it was like, now they've got like the Jim Rose Circus Freak Show, where they've got the hooks in the back of the guy's traps, and they're lifting him off the ground. And they got these naked chicks spinning on chains. And I was like, maybe we should go. So we had to do, and the worst thing was the walk of shame out of the sold-out amphitheater, as everybody knows, like, ooh, bad father, bad parental decision, and we walk out, and what do you say? Like, I didn't really know what to say, and my son is like, he's like, you know what, Dad? Next time we go out somewhere, I'm gonna pick the place, because that didn't work out too well.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's certain image, but at least as a father, I respect that. Like, if there's something that you feel is age inappropriate or whatever, you go, let's just go. Like, you're not complaining or saying they shouldn't do it. He's just going,
you gotta know your kid.
Yeah, I respect that.
He likes music, and the music was great. It was just the imagery. It wasn't even the story. It was the imagery, which, like I said, it was just, and it confused me as to why they did it, because, they're not Dimmu Borgir or some satanic death band. I mean, that was their thing in the 70s, but it wasn't like, and Ozzy's throwing water and doing the, doing the windmill thing. And meanwhile, in the background, there's like some, lady having an abortion or whatever the hell was going on. And it's like, it's kind of, and it was fun. I was talking to Zach Wilde about it, and he goes, I guarantee Oz doesn't even know what's on behind him.
Really?
Unless he turns around for a drink. He said all he cares about now is what time does his show start and what time can he be back in the hotel room to watch the History Channel.
History Channel. Yeah. Still watching that History Channel.
Loves the History Channel.
Yeah, I did not notice any of the imagery. Like, I was looking up, but most of the time I was just watching the fucking.
But you're a Sabbath fanatic.
Yeah.
Have you seen them play before?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
many times.
But to go, it was like kind of like, oh, this is your hero.
I went twice this year. I had to see them. It was more, the one I wanted to see the most was Iommi, because he's sick, and I'm like, I don't know how many. I mean, hopefully he'll be okay.
Well, them as a band. I mean, obviously, I think Ozzy will tour again, but Sabbath, this could be the end of it, right?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I would hope not. The band, it was such a massive success.
How was Ozzy when you saw them?
He was great. I mean, I saw them twice, and he was great both times. They did a shorter set in Irvine because it was later in the tour.
Right.
And I think as the tour drags on,
they cut a lot of new songs too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I need a better copy of that fucking.
How great is that? We're looking at a picture of Jimmy.
My favorite thing about this
interviewing Black Sabbath.
Is Norton the douchebag wearing a suit jacket. It's like, I'm gonna go interview Sabbath. I have to look the part for once.
At Ozzy's home.
That's Ozzy's house. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I bought the jacket, the pants. I bought everything for that, and I didn't know what I wore a black T-shirt. I wanted to, because it's for their DVD, so I wanted to wear something that was kind of. I didn't want to wear like a fucking rock T-shirt.
Right.
And I didn't know what to get, so I'm like, just a jacket and some black pants.
That's huge, man. That's so cool.
That's one of the things. Like, we were talking earlier about how you get to become friends with your heroes, and that's pretty cool that you're in Ozzy's house. I've never been in Ozzy's house before, but that's pretty damn cool, man.
Yeah,
think, when you were 15.
Jim Florentine left me a message. He goes, "Remember you were calling England Jet Records to try to meet him? I used to call England in 1981.
And now you're in his
I want to meet
house.
Ozzy.
Asshole.
Yeah, I can never tell Ozzy that. He'll get creeped out.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't be in Ozzy's house.
Yeah. That's the second house of his I've been in. The first one was that we shot the opening to the special was his old house.
Wow.
In his bathroom.
Listen to Norton house dropping. That's the second house I've been to. The first one was much nicer.
Believe me, it's a big drop after Ozzy. It goes from Ozzy to Opie and Anthony are the next two big houses.
I remember an embarrassing fucking moment. I went to go see Saturday Night Fever, and I'm sitting between my mom and my grandmother. And it's like, that part, you happy now you're a cunt, right?
Yeah.
And they're like fucking gangbanging that chick in the back seat. And I swear, I was just like, I was jerking off. I was so fucking uncomfortable, man. It was like...
Well, now fast forward, I can put myself in your mom's shoes. I'm sure she was even more uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
And what do you say? Like, there's nothing to say. You're kind of...
You don't want to fucking talk about it.
Did you say anything on the way home?
I didn't really say, like, what did you think of those images, son? I just said, it was pretty heavy, and some of that stuff you probably shouldn't have seen, and he was
Don't
agreeing.
tell mom.
Don't tell mom. Yeah, I pretty much did say that, don't tell mom. But conversely, she had taken, I believe, him and our nephew, who was 11, to Lady Gaga, which was... Fire Island times 1,000. Where I guess one of the opening lines was like, "I want you to suck. I want all of you to suck my cock," and she's a chick, and they're like, same thing. Don't tell your
and
mom.
Two of us raised our hands and cheered.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the thing. Like you said, sometimes I was talking to Jose from Octane. And he was saying that his daughter loved it. So, and Charlie Benanti took his daughter to Gaga because they're friends, and he said he just covered her ears at certain points and stuff. So
you got to figure out what your kid can handle,
we all grow up in different... I remember when I was a kid, I was about 7, and I went to one of those live haunted houses. My mom took me in because she thought it would be a lark. Thought that we'd have a fun time.
Yeah, sure.
And I'll never forget... Dude, I remember it as clear as day, and it was 32 years ago or whatever. There was a lady in a bathtub filled with blood. And I was so scared, I was just screaming at this point. My mom had to carry me, and I was like probably 8 at that point, so it was like not that carryable. And I remember the lady looked up in the bathtub, and she had this look of like pure compassion. She was like, "Oh," and she smiled like, "It's okay." But the lady covered in blood in the bathtub smiling at me freaked me out even more. Of course. I was like, she's smiling at me. So I'm sure, 30 years from now, when you guys are still on the fucking airwaves and my son is on, he'll tell you, my dad took me to Sabbath once, and a nun was jerking off a cross covered in blood, making out with another nun.
Yeah.
The other one was Barbarella. Barbarella fucking at a drive-in, my father and his girlfriend at the time, and I'm sitting there, and it was the beginning part where she's kind of naked and flipping through space and shit, and I remember trying not to breathe heavy. I was fucking so fucking turned on, and I'm like, this is weird. Oh, it was so weird.
The Opie and Anthony Podcast.
Oh, they're coming right in? Okay. I just saw Opie run out.
I was just getting this in my ear going, Ozzy has to, they're in the lobby waiting. I'm like,
I saw,
but I don't want to, because I know this is
what looked like a full-blown anxiety attack on the part of Jimmy, on Jimmy's face.
Which seat do you want Ozzy to sit?
You sit here and then put
of course, of course he wants Ozzy Osbourne right next to him.
I don't mind using next to him either.
Right next to him.
He
loves
because their record's coming out today.
What happened? Oh, look at him.
Fucking Roland.
He's just Roland. Let's get look at Ozzy. Ozzy Osbourne. How you doing, Ozzy? Take a seat, my friend.
Hello.
Geezer, what's up, man?
How you doing, man?
Take a seat.
How are you?
You've lost so much weight.
Yeah, Jimmy lost a lot of weight.
Just going to the gym. Just going to the gym and eating better. That's it.
What did you cut out?
I just cut out eating late at night and just awful food that I was eating. And on the road, it's hard because I eat a lot of crap on the road. So we're on right now.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Pop the old headphones on. Talk about the new album. Oh my God.
It's doing really well around the world.
Yeah, Skeezy, you tweeted yesterday that it was #1 in Germany, right?
Yes. And now today it's #1 in USA, UK, Greece, everywhere.
Oh, really? So you guys are obviously
on
really
iTunes.
So you're really thrilled
Yeah.
with the fact that it's doing well.
Oh, absolutely.
Were you surprised by how it sounded when you finished with it? How did you finally hear the finished product?
Well, I got the mixes every day. We take when we were doing it. We take a rough mix at home. So that was all I was used to. And I was kind of thinking, well, it's okay, I suppose. But then when I heard the finished master, blew me away. It was so good. Well done.
Did you think it was going to do this well, this fast?
No, not at all.
I mean, when you're in the middle of it, you don't realise how what you're doing. You just do it naturally. I mean, if it's number one now around the world, it's the first number one we ever had, both solo and together.
Well, the fact is, too, it's also the fact that you're doing with iTunes and you did CSI and you're doing all of this kind of like mainstream stuff. That's a treatment that Sabbath never got.
Well, it's kind of weird when we were together. We never had one good review of anything anybody said we were going to last. But all of a sudden, people are going, they're saying positive things, which I don't really feel comfortable with because we were always a people's band,
Uh-huh.
But now it's what you got to do because there's no records anymore, and you got to do you got to be on chat lines and whatever.
This sounds like Old Sabbath. This you definitely
Well,
went back.
Rick Rubin had a plan. He would when I would stop him on with the years, he'd say, "Will Sabbath ever get together?" And if they do, I want to be the producer. And so it took us back to the first album, and after I remember all going, what's he going at the first album? More than like 19 albums each,
Wow.
So you got to go back and kind of unlearn all the stuff you've learned in the 35 years. And it's like, lyrically, the album is brilliant. And I know, Geezer, you're responsible for a lot of that. Is it kind of hard to address stuff that you addressed when you were 20 or 25 and address it now in kind of the same vein or with the same emotion?
No, because it's different. It's same. There's still the same old crap going on in the world. So, there's still loads of things that you can sing about.
Well, pedophilia you address in the Catholic Church scandal, which I thought you guys addressed really nicely and pretty aggressively.
Yeah, I mean, Ozzy came up with the line, "Dear Father," and at first it was the quote from Jesus, "They know not what they do." So I didn't want to use that since Jesus had already said it.
Yeah. It's been quoted a few times. You don't want to rip him off.
So I thought, well, what could I do? Dear Father, I didn't want it to do it about your dad or anything. So I just thought, Father, it's Catholic priest. And that was all going on at the time when I was writing the lyrics. And so I thought, since they've been having a go at us since we started, let's have a go back at them.
Oh yeah, I guess it's got to feel good after all these years of hearing them criticize what you do and what you stand for. Like, and look what was going on.
Yeah, because they never really listened to the lyrics anyway of Sabbath, and they've always condemned metal, any metal thing, saying satanic and all that crap. And meanwhile, they're fiddling about with little kids, So it was our turn to show the real hypocrites and the real evil people are in the world.
And how's Tony? I mean, I know he's resting up in England and getting ready to tour. Is he doing okay?
Yeah, he's doing great. He's responding well to his treatment. So.
And is the tour going to happen as scheduled? Do you guys still think you're going to be going out and doing?
Hopefully. I mean, it's like we contact him on a regular basis. And he sounds great when I text him on that.
What was the schedule like when you were recording? Because again, he's going through chemo and treatments, and he's doing an album. So how did you balance that?
We were doing like about 4 or 5 weeks on, and then he'd have his treatment and have to rest for about a month, and then go back in and do it again, which is the same thing that we're doing for the tour. He'll be we'll be touring for about 6 to 8 weeks at a time, and then he goes back and has his treatment.
And you're uncomfortable with almost the positive press and with the good reviews and the stuff like that? It's kind of difficult to get used to that, right?
I haven't really read any reviews yet, so.
Well, I mean, Rolling Stone is being nice about it, and then it's like all these outlets that typically didn't give you guys what you deserved are now being nice.
Well, I suppose it's when they slagged us, they didn't think we were going to last. And
You're around long enough. They're like, all right, we love these guys.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to take it because it's like when the media and that start liking us, I think, Well, I missed us the first time around. But then again, I was just talking to Howard Stern, and in 1968, we had no idea it was going to last five years. I mean, 45 years.
Jesus.
It's unbelievable.
That really
the
is.
last studio album was 35 years ago.
Last studio album that long ago.
Yeah, what was because I don't remember that. Like I was, I became a Sabbath fan when I was about 12 or 13, and that was 1980 or 81. So this is the first time I've ever experienced this, and the anticipation for this album, it was like there's no way it could have lived up to what I wanted, and I really mean it. It's fucking so much better than I had hoped it would be. I can't believe how fucking much I love this record. I mean, I hope you guys understand how great it is.
You're just looking at each other. Gushing.
Oh no, whoever
gushing,
wants to,
Jimmy.
I'm just being a gushing sissy fanboy.
Who are you going to blow first?
Holy shit. Well, Geezer just volunteered Ozzy, so I guess Ozzy.
Well, what was the question?
I really wasn't. I was just saying I kind of hope you guys.
No question there.
No question.
That was a rhetorical ass kissing you just got.
I was just basically
that was a
saying,
good ass lapping.
Do you know how good the record is? Because when you're close to something,
when you're doing it, you don't realize. It's you like it, you love it, but then we're not used to having all this attention. We used to put albums out and go on the road.
Well, the CSI thing was interesting too because that's such a mainstream show, and it's very rare that I ever got to see my band on a show like that. Because I loved you guys and I loved Kiss, and there was never that mainstream treatment in the 70s.
But there's no outlet anymore. There's no music television. There's no MTV. Just the fucking channels with games and things. There's no. Unless you watch that metal show on VH1, which is like 4 o'clock in the morning or something.
So do you think that so records aren't making what they used to make? I mean, obviously the money mostly comes from touring as opposed to the albums.
I don't really ask my wife that question. I don't know.
Because they're saying like a lot of bands complain that they can't make money doing the albums anymore, and
It's like they download for free, and pretty soon it's going to be. And you can't make anything. It's going to cost you money to make records.
Has the technology and stuff and iTunes and the availability and grabbing one song here and one song there helped you guys or hurt you guys, do you think? Do you think it's exposed you to more people or has it hurt you?
I think it's instant now. It's like I was saying last night, you can look up iTunes now, and I was just looking to see what new stuff was coming out this week, and I noticed that the Sabbath album is #1, so it's like, oh God, you forget that it's that instant. So I understand like that people want something, but they want it now, and everything's instant now. So that it's like instead of having to go down to your record shop,
right? Yeah,
which is gone.
But there's something sad about that because when you used to do vinyl albums, you'd have a great artwork on the albums.
Right? Yeah,
there's something to read, and you got excited for the release date. And you
something to clean your weed on.
Yeah. Missiles.
Yeah, you can wing it across the room. There's a little bit of everything with those album
your
covers.
Pizza box.
Something to shoot at.
But that is you do miss that. It's like the smell of a new record and the big booklets that would come with them and all that stuff now is just like a little digital picture, and it's not quite the same.
And the vinyl thing's become a collector's only kind of a thing.
Also, journeying outside the house. You had to go to the store.
You could stay in your house now and have everything delivered.
You don't have to leave ever. It's amazing.
I like that idea a bit.
I kind of like that part myself too. Yeah. I don't go out
on the
much.
couch, put the fucking Netflix on, and
yeah. You just
pizza and
popping everything really instantly available right there to your house.
Do you not think we're all living too fast?
It is a little bit. I mean, there are times where you should probably go out, maybe meet people face to face.
Get some air.
Yeah, get a little air.
Something.
I don't know. It just seems like now, we were talking about like Facebook and Twitter and how you meet people, and especially relationships with girls and things like that when you want to go out. You used to have to look a girl in the face and ask her, hey, you want to go out or you want to do that. Now you wind up seeing each other's fucking pussy and tits and dick and everything else before you go out.
I want to have a look at that one.
Pussy and tits and dick. That's one girl.
That hand's been with more chicks.
Jesus. It's just that the whole the dance has been just compressed into this
So you can lie.
tiny.
Also, you can also lie on this.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
I'm 21 and she's fucking 85 years old.
People do that too. They send out photos that aren't them.
Yeah.
I know because I do it.
Yes, of course you do, Jim.
I receive them.
I don't know. It's just, I don't think it's better or worse in any way. I just think it's different. You know, history will.
It's fucking easy to wake up next to an 85-year-old.
History will always, you know, things will change over time. I mean, and this is just something else. Yeah,
Can't send you a message. My fingers are too sticky.
Who are you talking to there? Sticky fingers.
There's it's weird. I've gone through entire relationships on the phone, like just text messaging and pictures, and then you never wind up meeting the person. It's really weird how you don't have to go out and talk to people.
There's a
anymore.
beginning, a middle, and an end of this pseudo relationship, and you never meet. It's the oddest thing, and then after a while you realize, oh, I haven't even fucking like messaged them in weeks. Oh, I guess that's over. It's like what over? It never was. It's an odd thing.
Do
It
you
really
watch
is.
that thing on the TV when they set people up and they go, they got a sex thing and a guy comes, you know who I am.
Oh, where they have you go to the house and he shows up?
Yeah.
Have I seen it? I've been on it. Yes, of course.
But it's pretty weird that people, you know.
Yeah.
There was one guy when he took all his clothes off and the guy goes, he's sitting there naked. He goes, well, what do you do? He says, I'm a rabbi.
Yeah, that was
To Catch a Predator.
To Catch a Predator.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like,
Craziest
you know,
show
what's
ever.
going on?
Yeah, we actually there was a guy there, and he said to what was his name?
Chris Hansen.
Chris Hansen. He goes, "Oh yeah, I saw you on the Opie and Anthony show." It's like, oh great, there's one of ours.
They got one of our fans.
One of our
Ozzy.
fans getting cuffed out on the lawn, crying, trying not to look into the camera.
That was a highlight for us, huh?
It certainly was. Hey, better him than me.
Do you get concerned with privacy and stuff like that? Because now everything is savable, like with digital technology. Every text you save, every message, it's all
Every movie you
savable. And it's like, you know, I don't know how I feel about that, whether it's good or bad. But
Well,
I mean,
regardless how you feel, it's happening. Just
oh,
ask the
believe
NSA.
me, it absolutely
Oh, boy.
is. If the government's been watching
I must
me,
be honest, I don't know how to work a computer very well. I
Yeah.
know two things about it.
You're not.
But I can't remember that. My son sits down and says, "This, if you want to get this, press this button." I'm still pressing fucking buttons and nothing happens.
Trying to find something.
I press a button, the screen fucking wipes out.
You must be a
I'll
whiz
get that
with.
curly thing. That's about it.
Yeah, that's it.
oh, the thing that says it's doing something, it's doing something.
It's working.
It's
I've had
working.
it 15 years and he's fucking working.
Hey, how's Jack doing,
He's
Oz?
doing great.
He's doing great?
Absolutely great.
We love him, man.
He's a good
He's only
guy.
done our show once, but he's a solid human being.
He's very cool.
It's something we kind of like grew up. We watched your kids grow
Right.
up on television.
Wow.
It's the
I mean, I
weirdest
was
thing,
looking
man.
at, Jack's just given us a daughter, Pearl. She's and I'm
Crazy.
Going, it seems like yesterday it was in a field in my house.
He's a little kid on the show.
It's
Are you a
fun.
good
Yeah,
grandfather? You a good
But-
grandfather, Oz?
I love her. She's wonderful.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
got grandchildren from other kids.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
93.
I was a little off on that one.
Just a couple of years.
Off a couple decades. No, I do
I've been a
that.
busy boy.
Sorry,
Yeah,
man.
you certainly have.
I guess the new one, I should have said.
You know, I said to Sharon the other day, I said, Sharon, would you like to be able to have another kid? She goes, no fucking way.
You're done. No more.
We're done. We're done it a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Wow.
Do you ever, because you're more private, like you see Ozzy's life has been so public for all these years. Did that kind of make you want to be more public and kind of want?
No.
Wow,
I'm
that
like
was definitive.
The least public person on earth. I don't use the phone, don't use anything.
Oh, really?
Go home and that's it. You never see me. Until
That's it, huh?
You're not online or anything, geezer?
I'm online, but
Barely?
only about 3 people
Right.
know the address.
Yeah, so you're not a big, you don't enjoy like the Twitter or the texting or anything. You kind of just keep it to
No, I
a.
have people to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sent you an email actually.
I thought it was you. Yeah, about Hasselhoff.
No.
Jimmy's like, no, that's not me.
No, we all took. Last time I saw you guys, like 2 weeks ago, we all took a picture, and you said to your assistant, "You never send me the pictures to your assistant."
Oh,
so
yeah, she sent it to me.
Oh, thank God. Okay. 'Cause I should have just lied and said, "Oh yeah."
To me, you twat.
That sounds like an instant delete. Oh, fucking Jim Norton.
Yeah.
Click.
Who is this? Who is this creep between? I wanted a picture of me and Ozzy, not this fucking troll. I'm just ruining the photo. Do you guys watch that metal show? Do you watch that?
Now and again, when I want a reason to go to sleep, I watch it.
Oh, really?
Oh shit! Here goes Eddie Trunk.
Hokey, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Here goes Eddie Trunk.
Oh yeah, the Florentine. I feel
Florentine.
Come on, man. So what happens? I'm seeing you guys tonight at the town hall. We're doing that thing down in.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And we're talking on to a large audience, and we're gonna have Tony will be on remote, and Brad Wilkes and Jack. And Brad was a great choice for drums, and I know you guys had to pick somebody. You can't have an album without a drummer. And what was the final point that said this is the guy for us, as opposed to other guys that you've been working
We
with?
had 2 weeks before to go in the studio and record, and then we didn't have anybody. So it was Rick's idea to bring in Brad. We tried a few other drummers, and they didn't work out. And Rick just said, "Try Brad. He's going to work out." And we tried him. We did about 2 weeks rehearsals with him, and after about a week, everything fell into place, and we went, "Yeah, this is the right choice."
Was there a time where you thought he might not be the guy? Like, was there a time where it was
first few days? It was like really strange, especially after being with Bill for hundreds of years,
right?
And it was just weird playing with a different drummer that you've never played with before. And then, but
originally it was going to be Tommy, but Rick didn't want to use Tommy.
Rick Rubin gave him a few pointers, and Brad sort of got it, and we got into the groove of everything that we were doing, and it went from there. It turned out really well.
Yeah, it seems it's like to go back, and I was amazed you were able to grab like anyone who's an old Sabbath fan will love this, because I was amazed you were able to get that sound, like legitimately get the sound of like the first couple of albums. And then
that was Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin was hell bent. I didn't know what he was talking about for a long time.
Probably likewise, Ozzy.
from the first album.
Yeah.
We kept doing, man, let's listen to the first album, and it was like, what the fuck's he on about? And then it kind of clicked, because we were originally we were a jazz blues band.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd been doing the songs on the first album live, so it was like a bit of an overflow from the blues stuff, and the feel he was looking for.
To be able to listen to old tracks like that and know what needs to be put on the guitar, what needs to be put on the bass and whatnot to get that old sound is really, that's a talent,
Rick
man.
Rick Rubin for years.
Yeah.
Every time I'd run into him, he would say, if you do a Sabbath album, count me in, I want to produce. So he said, he didn't come straight in fresh. He'd been working in his mind. What
Right. So he knew.
You know, it was very interesting.
It sounds like old Sabbath, but it doesn't sound dated at all. It's that's a talent to be able to do something like that.
But it basically got us back to playing live in the studio instead of like putting tons of overdubs and keyboards and effects and everything else on.
Yeah.
That we got into this habit in the late 70s of just layering everything, just going over the top in the studio, because we were producing ourselves, and the more dope we were doing, the more stuff.
Wait, were you guys doing drugs in the 70s?
Let me think. No. We were going to church.
Doing Tylenol.
Yeah, that's about it.
Andrew was good there.
There's a documentary that's being shown tonight, a 25-minute documentary, and you said something interesting in it about back in those, like, you know, a lot of times you have to sing the chorus more than once. And back in those days, or for a while, you'd sing it once, and then the computer would bounce it off something.
Oh, yeah.
And now you wanted to sing these.
Yeah. I sang it exactly the way I used to do in the old days.
Which was kind of just to blow it right through.
Just go through it, you know.
And did you like this more, having done it, this process, or did you kind of go like, wow, we missed the computers, or fuck, we've been missing out?
No, we never, on our first album, it was 2 4-track machines bounced onto each other, if you don't know what I'm talking about. And once you bounce it down, you couldn't take it back, so you kind of mixed as you're going along, you know. And it was just, we just we just went in, plugged in, played, and that's the way we thought people make records.
Why did bands stop doing that? Because every time there's a classic record, you always hear like these amazing albums. Oh, we did that in 4 hours. Like all these great works that were done. And then for some reason, people fell into the computer trap and
overproduced. A lot of it's having your home computers because you can do anything on your
as many tracks as you need.
Yeah, and then they go into the studio, and that's the way you're supposed to do it.
You had to play it live accurately in the studio because you only had a limited number of tracks on the tape.
But
and once you bounced it down, though, now if you bounce down your bass and guitar track onto a single track, now you can't alter the difference between the bass and the guitar.
Yeah,
so you have to keep building and building and building. So you got to play pretty accurately together, as opposed to if you got a zillion tracks, now you just bam, 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 mix it later. Fix it in the mix, motherfucker.
Exactly.
We'll fix it in the mix.
Yeah. But then that process got meticulous.
Yeah,
man.
then it got overproduced.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they would take a year to fucking mix an album.
Yep.
Holy
But
mackerel.
this time we did it. We got back to like playing it live in the studio, and if one of us made like a big mistake, we'd have to stop and start from the top
over again.
So
Oh, really?
like, yeah. So we all had to really concentrate, and we sort of knew the songs backwards by then.
A little more pressure.
And you're vocal.
Yeah,
are you
more
vocally
pressure.
doubling yourself? Like you're singing on top of
Yeah.
yourself again instead of just taking one track and
I'm
doubling.
still doing the whole thing.
So you're singing. I like that because it gives these slight differences in the voice and makes it almost like oscillate a little between the note.
You've been in a recording studio.
Yeah, a couple of times. a few times. But
he was in a
it's such
band.
a
He's in a
fuller.
band.
It's a fuller sound when you do it like that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not, and that's like the classic, Ozzy sound too.
Yeah.
Sometimes a flaw is okay. Like there's one part in Damaged Soul where it's like in one of the, which I know I'm kind of going deep for anyone who hasn't heard the album, but it's such a fucking heavy song. And there's one point where you say soul and your voice cracks a little bit, and they left it like they left that imperfection.
Yeah. I've always liked the fact you can hear people's fingers going up the fretboard.
Yeah.
It makes it sound like but now it's like fucking pure sound.
Yeah.
And it's not supposed to sound like that. It doesn't sound like that.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. I've been in the studio doing an album, and I sang it one not on this last album, but one of my albums. And I got this track home to my house, and I'm playing it, and I go, I never fucking sang it like that. and I found the producer, and I said, Michael, can I ask you a question? Is it possible to tune the voice differently? He goes, oh, yeah. Oh, did you do that on the substitute?
shit.
Oh, yeah, I just, you fucking asshole. I mean, that can make it sound different,
Yeah, it's not me. Yeah.
Did you?
Oh, wow.
So it irritated you.
If I'd have wanted to sing it that way, I'd have sang it that way. He just altered the melody.
Yeah, they could alter the pitch, and then they gate out any ambient sound that was in there. And
This was at the beginning of a Pro Tool. I didn't know what Pro Tools were.
Pro Tools.
Fucking around with it in a Pro Tool.
Yeah.
So did you at
Wow.
one point get caught up in that, like just recording in different studios, not with each other, but I mean, as the years went on, did you kind of fall into that?
I've never really got into that kind of thing 'cause it's not the way we started.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of producers do. I think that's the way you do it. That's why Rick was so good because he took us back as if it was an analog recording.
Right. Yeah.
And the days of the drugs and all that stuff. Tony said in an interview recently, I think with BBC, that you would have them flown in on a private plane.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't get any.
I was the one that picked it up. I went down Monday to get the coke on the plane. He couldn't get back till Friday.
That's probably a bad idea. Send Ozzy for the drugs. He'll bring them back.
I'm still fucking out there now. I'm trying to do the fucking white lines on the runway.
Shit. Yeah, send the dog out for the steaks.
White lines on the runway.
Yeah.
Is it harder to come up with like you said, like the lyrics and stuff? You're not talking about a lot of this, like the drugs and all that stuff that you would write about at one point. I mean, that's obviously
Methademic. Ozzy wrote.
Oh, was that you?
Yeah.
What happened? You're just watching something on meth, and you're like,
No, I was doing meth.
Yeah, it's called a mirror. He was watching something.
It was two big lines on a mirror.
Oh, shit.
Perfect answer.
That was, I guess so. Why would I think that Ozzy didn't do meth? What the fuck's wrong with me?
It's Ozzy Osbourne you're talking
I
about.
agree. That was a dumb question. I asked this. Good thing I got it out of the way now. Not tonight.
Jimmy's so sweet. You're a sweet boy.
I
He
really
just
am.
likes thinking
He's
the
trying to
best.
be polite now. He's lost all his
He
way.
is. Yeah,
Trying
yeah.
to be cool.
Yeah. Who did meth in your life? Hey, what the fuck's wrong with me? It was him.
Just say no to drugs, Ozzy. All right, Jimmy, we get it.
Well, I never did meth. I never did it. I quit years ago, and I never got to do it. I hear it's quite a fun one for a little while.
Oh, yeah. It's good for insomnia.
What is it?
Yeah.
What does it do to you?
I'll tell you about, I was watching that thing. Somebody suggested I watch that Breaking Bad. Have you watched it?
Oh, yeah.
Fucking great.
Isn't that a great show?
My son comes in, every time he comes, I'm watching some other show about drugs and people getting fucked up. Jack says to me, Dad, why is he every time I come home, he's watching programs about drugs? That's all I watch.
You just watch drug shows.
That's all I watch. Shows about smuggling and all this shit.
Breaking Bad's a good one. That is
Great.
that is a good one.
I'm looking forward to the next series, actually.
Were you more into being drug-induced up or a little down on stage?
Any fucking thing.
Anything? Like when
I'm
you were
a
performing,
garbage
though,
can.
did you have any
Heroin,
preference?
Coke, fucking everything.
Really? So you didn't even care? Up or
Biking
down?
Percocets, you know, anything would give me the V.
Did you ever leave the stage after a show and then maybe wake up the next day and have no recollection of doing a show?
Really? That was my fucking habit, that was.
It wasn't a show, it was a decade.
How did the show go?
Fuck the show, it was a whole decade.
I'd fucking do. I mean, when I discovered Seconal, that was another one.
Really?
I'd be fucking
Seconal?
face down in the bath all the fucking time.
Oh
What does Seconal do? I never did that either.
It's barbiturate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Breads.
And it
Wow.
takes you down.
Oh, fucking done it like that. I think that's what they had over too many of them on the fucking Titanic. Oh, you go down big time on that.
Is that good after a night of like coke binging and stuff to kind of come down?
You could say that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good, yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I don't.
Dr. Ozzy prescribes that you should take some barbs when you...
I'm always amazed with guys that figured out the combinations. I was just a very basic, basic guy. Like,
Let's get some dummy like me to try these, Ozzy, see if you come round.
Did anyone in the band get pissed at you? Like, fuck, Ozzy, come on, we're trying to...
I got fired. You could say that. They'd find me fucked up at 9 o'clock in the morning. They'd go out. It wasn't very productive.
No, huh? I didn't think it would be, yeah.
did it interfere with the recording schedule and stuff when you were back in those days?
Kind of.
Kind
It's
of.
only woke up with a new band round me.
Hilarious, man.
Oh, man.
Well, fuck it.
Goddamn rock star, Ozzy.
I really love it, and
Yeah.
again, everybody knows I was gonna love it because I'm a Sabbath freak. But it's like it's so nice to say it and mean it. I love this album so much.
It's nice to be a fan and then have a product come
Yes.
out and you're just like, wow, I'm not disappointed.
It's really heavy. I mean, the album is really fucking heavy, and it's like it's something I would have expected in 1971. So if that was the goal, you hit the goal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Jim Florentine said it's a masterpiece.
He puts on that sleeping show there, that metal show. When you got to go to sleep, you put it on. That's the Ozzy. That should be the promo for the show. Ozzy says.
Yeah, that's our
Yeah,
pal.
we know the hosts. But,
and I know you guys have music channels to do, so I'm not
Yeah.
going to keep you all day because I know there's other press. And I'm seeing you tonight anyway. I don't want you to think I'm interview stalking you. This was like a last minute. They're going to see me tonight and go like, "What? We just talked to you, but it's for a different thing, and I'm not trying to fucking bother you." All right.
Of course you were not. Ozzy Giza, thanks so much for
Cheers.
coming
Thank
in,
you.
man.
All
You guys are
right.
great.
Thanks for listening to the Opie and Anthony podcast. For more Opie and Anthony content, listen to the Decade of Dominance All Request show on Sirius XM's Opie Radio and on the Sirius XM app with Sirius XM On Demand.
Are you ready? Come on, you motherfuckers! This isn't a Barry Manilow concert. Are you ready?